Have you ever felt like something is building deep within you? Something unexplainable, unstoppable, and undeniable? Like you're on the edge of something big, but you can't quite name it. If you've been feeling more intense, more awake, more different than ever, this might be the moment you've been waiting for. Because before the final spiritual awakening, the moment your spirit fully ascends into alignment with your true self, there are signs, specific, powerful signs that only the chosen ones experience. And if you're here listening right now, it's not a coincidence. You've been guided here for a reason. And by the time this message reaches your heart, you'll realize you're not going crazy. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt, transformed, awakened. So take a deep breath. Let it in. And if any of this resonates with you as we go along, I want to hear your story in the comments. You never know who your words might help. We're not alone in this. Your testimony might be someone else's confirmation. Let's talk about what's really going on with you right now. There's a point in every chosen one's journey where the physical world stops making sense. Things you used to care about suddenly feel empty. You lose interest in small talk, fake friendships, chasing money that doesn't feed your soul. You start waking up, but waking up doesn't feel peaceful at first. It feels like being ripped open. You might feel more tired than usual, not just physically, but emotionally, because your spirit is working overtime. You're letting go of things you didn't even realize were weighing you down. Generational patterns, trauma, karmic ties. The heaviness you feel, it's your past being peeled away. Comment, "That's me," if you felt this deep spiritual fatigue without knowing why. Now let's talk about the mental noise. You may have noticed your mind won't shut up lately. Racing thoughts, heightened awareness, even fear coming out of nowhere. But this is your old self resisting death. The ego doesn't want to let go. It's fighting for control. That's why it feels louder now. It knows it's losing. And through this storm comes clarity. Suddenly, you start seeing patterns you never noticed before. Synchronicities, repeating numbers, a stranger saying the exact words you needed to hear. You feel watched over, not in a scary way, but in a divine way, protected, guided. Drop A if you've been seeing 1111 or 333 lately. The universe is talking, loudly. Another major sign is disconnection from the people you once felt close to. You're not being rude, you're being recentered. You're realizing you're not on the same frequency anymore, and that can be lonely, painfully lonely. But hear this, you're not meant to stay in circles that no longer align with your growth. God is removing the counterfeit connections to make room for the real ones. That silence in your life, it's preparation, not punishment. And some of you have been going through relationship breakdowns, spiritual betrayals, and family tension all at once. You're wondering, why is this happening now? But what if I told you, this is the final purge before you rise into the version of you that was always meant to emerge. This is spiritual labor, and labor is painful before the birth. Have you felt unusually emotional, like you're crying more often, or getting hit by sudden waves of joy and sorrow? That's not just mood swings, that's soul detox. Your heart is clearing out debris so it can love on a higher dimension. Let me know in the comments if you've had unexplainable emotional waves lately. You're not broken, you're becoming real. And here's something that most don't talk about. Many chosen ones start having intense dreams before their awakening completes. Dreams of flying, of falling, of people you haven't seen in years. Even dreams of being chased. These are spiritual messages, sometimes warnings, sometimes activations. Have you had strange dreams recently? Don't ignore them. Share in the comments. Somebody might interpret something you missed. But beyond all of these signs, the deepest symptom of your coming awakening is this. You feel like something bigger than you is calling you. You can't see it. You can't explain it. But it's pulling you forward, whispering in moments of silence, nudging you through intuition. That, right there, is your higher self. And once you fully surrender, you will rise. The truth is, your final awakening won't make you feel perfect. It will make you feel pure, honest, whole. You won't be the same, but you will finally be you. Fully, unapologetically, spiritually you. And I want to hear from you. Which part of this message hit the hardest? Which sign have you felt the strongest? Was it the emotional overload, the solitude, the dreams, or that strange sense that God is closer than ever, and yet just out of sight? Comment below. Let's talk about it together. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Let's go even deeper, because the symptoms before your final awakening aren't always clean or easy to explain. Some of you have felt it in the most uncomfortable ways. And if nobody's told you this before, let me be the first to say, spiritual awakening is messy, and that's okay. You might start noticing you're more irritable around certain people, even people you used to love being around. Their energy doesn't sit right with you anymore. That's not arrogance, that's awareness. Your spirit is starting to reject low-vibration environments. You don't feel like tolerating gossip, drama, or shallow talk anymore. You're craving depth, meaning, truth, and the people around you, they feel that shift. Some are confused, some are offended, some even turn against you. Let them. You're not losing people. You're shedding layers. Everyone can't go where you're going. And then there's the silence. Not just the external silence, but that deep internal stillness where everything feels like it's slowing down, where God doesn't feel as loud as before. That silence isn't punishment, it's presence. It's space being made. The Creator is preparing you in quiet. The teacher is silent during the test, remember? Some of you are experiencing a total disconnection from your old desires, things you used to crave, money, status, recognition. They're starting to feel hollow because your soul isn't starving anymore. It's awakening. And that, right there, is one of the hardest things to explain to someone who hasn't felt it. Because from the outside, it looks like you're just changing. But on the inside, you're dying to the false self and being reborn into the true one. You might even feel like you're grieving, and you are. You're grieving the past version of you, the one who survived, who settled, who tried so hard to be accepted in places you were never meant to belong. But now, you're becoming, you're shedding. And in this stage of the awakening, something wild happens. You stop fearing solitude. You start craving it, because you realize that peace isn't just quiet, it's holy. Peace becomes sacred, and the more you protect it, the more you hear your own soul speak clearly. Let me ask you something, and be honest. Have you started feeling more detached from this world? Not suicidal, not depressed, but just uninterested in what the world is obsessed with? Trends, opinions, outrage, arguments. If that's you, comment. I've felt that right now. You're not alone in that feeling, that sense of detachment. That's spiritual maturity. It's you rising above the noise. You're not being distant. You're being elevated. And listen closely. When you stop chasing and start aligning, things begin to flow. The more you align with truth, the more things begin to reveal themselves to you, not by force, but by spiritual gravity. Suddenly, you begin to attract peace instead of chasing closure. You begin to attract purpose instead of chasing popularity. You start walking into rooms and sensing what's unsaid. You become spiritually intelligent, not through studying books, but through surviving battles no one saw. That wisdom isn't bought. It's earned in silence, in pain, in fire. And if you've made it this far in the video, there's no doubt in my mind, you're not waiting for awakening, you are awakening. And this final phase you're entering, it's not the end. It's the beginning of living fully, boldly, and soul-deep, real. Now I want to speak directly to the doubt in your mind, the part of you that's still wondering, is this really me? Am I truly a chosen one? Why does this journey feel so heavy? Because it is. And that heaviness is sacred. You've been entrusted with a level of spiritual awareness most people run from. You're being refined, not rejected. You're being called, not cursed. You're being prepared, not punished. The pain was never proof of your failure. It was proof of your purpose. You're not going backwards anymore. This time, you're going through. So now, ask yourself, what parts of me do I need to surrender to fully walk in who I was created to be? What habits? What fears? What mindsets have overstayed their welcome? Because this next level of awakening requires a next level version of you. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing. Audience engagement prompts. Throughout this section, comment below, I am ready for full awakening if you're stepping boldly into the next season. Have you experienced disconnection from people, yet felt more connected to yourself? Tell us how you've handled that. If you've lost things you thought were permanent, jobs, friends, relationships, comment, I now see why it had to go. What is one strange or powerful thing you've experienced recently, lie that made you feel spiritually aware?